You're watching Pulse for the 22nd of December, and it's time for some StarCraft news. In this week's episode, we take a look at the start of Ladder Season 5, the new Season 5 Ladder Map Pool update, the usual GSL updates and results, a few extras from Day 9, TotalBiscuit and Husky, and much more. Let's get started. If you didn't already know or haven't played StarCraft in a while, the 5th StarCraft 2 League season has arrived. At this time, Season 4 milestones have been awarded and bonus pools and stand-ins have been reset. Hidden skill ratings used for matchmaking and league placement have carried over from the previous season, as you know, so if you did well in your previous season, you might well have already got that promotion, or if you didn't do so well, that demotion. So if you have yet to jump onto Battle.net again, you can do so now to play that single placement match to kick off the new season. Tying in with this and beginning with Season 5, Blizzard has once again shuffled the ladder map pool around a bit. What they've been working towards recently is to only have tournament-ready maps, as they call them, in the ladder map pool, and given the success of their changes of late, they've removed the last two maps in the current map pool that aren't tournament viable. They're replacing them with new tournament-ready maps. So the maps that have been removed are Abyssal Caverns and Nerazim Crypt. The two that will be replacing them are Arid Plateau and Entombed Valley. Now I have heard a few people talking about these and I've seen a few tweets about them, and a lot of players are saying that they're not positionally balanced. But I haven't played them myself, so I can't really confirm or deny this. Honestly, at least they look cool, so that's something. Blizzard do give their own explanations for each of these maps, so you can check that out in the post I've linked below this video. And along with all of this, you can also read about the map contest that the guys over at Team Liquid had. The event sort of tied in with this past weekend's TL Open, where all the players battled it out on the new maps, so that's pretty fun. You can see the replays and VODs of those below as well. So that's pretty much it for the start of Season 5 and the new ladder maps. There aren't any new 2v2, 3v3 or 4v4 maps. You can check this entire post out below at your own leisure. Do you guys think these maps are better than the old classics? Would you rather play on these new maps than, say, Zalnaga Caverns or Metalopolis? I would absolutely love to hear your opinions on the new maps, so let me know if you have played them. As one quick Blizzard related extra, we've got a Q&A with David Kim to have a look at as well. Now this was actually from a little while back at the recent G-Star event in Korea. In the Q&A he answers a lot of balance related questions, seeing that he is in fact Blizzard's lead balance designer, and some of the big topics he covers include mules. Are they too effective when used on high yield mineral patches? Is the spawn lava mechanic too much management? We're told that even the pros are struggling and Blizzard are looking to change things. Are Terran being nerfed too much, with the Reapers being pretty much pushed out of the game and the EMP radius decreased quite significantly? Was removing Kadaran Amulet too drastic? And do Protoss players not have enough options? All of that and more. He really does talk about a lot and cover a lot of topics here, so if you are at all interested in StarCraft 2 balance, then this one's definitely for you. With that done, let's move on to the GSL updates. First up, we're going to have a look at the results from the 2011 GSL Blizzard Cup. Now if you had to ask someone who was actually watching the games if they were any good, then I'm pretty sure if they watched the entire Best of 7 series, they'd probably tell you that they were life-changing. I watched a lot of them and I will tell you right now that these were some of the best StarCraft 2 games that I've ever seen. And, well, Tastosis made them all the more interesting to watch. As you know, I'm going to be spoiling the score for you right now, so MMA opened pretty strong with the early 3-0 lead in this best of 7, but the Zerg playing Dongregu was not going to go down without a fight. He pulled it back and equalized it at a 3-3, and the last game, probably the most epic of the lot, went to MMA. So please congratulate Slayers MMA on yet another win. This guy is really, really good, but those games, absolutely worth a watch. You can find links to the VODs in the description below this video, so you guys should probably check that out. Lastly, if you were wondering, that means that Slayers MMA walks away with the equivalent of around $30,000, and in second place, Dongregu or DRG only gets around $8,000. Pretty big difference there. But anyway, read more about all of this below. Now we're going to have a look at the recent up and down match results. So firstly, Group A, B and C have already been played. Group D and E are coming on the 22nd and 23rd of December. The players that topped the groups are Nada, Lucky, Bomber, Gamiho, Zenio and Inca. Keep in mind that there are quite a few big names still coming up in Group D and E, so we're going to have to wait for those results. I'm not going to cover every single promotion or demotion right now, but I will tell you some big moves. Huck dropped down to Code A and Liquid Zenio moved up into Code S. A lot of people are pretty happy about that. About the Zenio part, not so much about the Huck part. Anyway, you guys can see the full promotion and demotion overview on your screens right now or in the links below this video. But with all that said, let's move on to the GSL extras. There are only a couple of these, but they are pretty interesting. First, and pretty much solely in our GSL extras, you can read how Naniwa was removed from the GSL January. With his removal though, Idra and Sen have got their very own Code S spots. There's a lot of drama surrounding this, so you can check that all out below. Then you can have a look at the GSL 2011 awards ceremony results. There were a bunch of interesting rewards, and I suppose the results were pretty expected. Check those out courtesy of ESFI World. Lastly, it seems like the China Union StarCraft 2 team is set to attend the next GSTL. So that's pretty interesting. I'm really keen to see more Chinese StarCraft 2 players because we all know how good they can be. Now let's move on to our tournament and event smalls. First up, read about the Twitch TV European Invitational. This is actually going to be cast by TotalBiscuit himself. Then read about FX Open's Malaysian League. This is going to be somewhat like the GSL and it's looking pretty interesting so far. Then read about the HP and Intel 2-man team event. You can download a NASL Season 2 replay pack. Read about a best of 31 between Cats and QXC. Yes, I said best of 31. 3-1. That's a lot of games. And lastly, read about the Home Story Cup 4 qualifiers. So I'm going to mention now that in our community news, we're going to have a bunch of smaller pieces this week. First up, Day 9's Musings. Rather than do a daily this week, Day 9 gave a couple of mini lectures, as he calls it, on topics that interest him. First up, emotions. Viewing emotions as kittens and ninja stars. Part 2 was design, talking about designing baseballs versus frisbees. And part 3, positivity. Yes, his absolute favorite subject. Have you ever wondered about his relentless positivity? Well, you can hear his thoughts on it. These were actually really fascinating and I thoroughly enjoyed watching them. You can check them all out right here on YouTube. And I gotta say, the guy definitely knows what he's talking about, or at least he talks about it so well that even if he didn't know about what he was talking about, it would still seem like he did. If that even makes sense. Well, there you go. Check them out and enjoy. Now we're going to talk about TotalBiscuit. He recently decided to run for King of the Web this Christmas in order to raise money for charity water. King of the Web does, if you didn't know, offer a $7,500 prize pool for coming in first place. And with this money that I would say is pretty guaranteed to be going to TotalBiscuit, he's going to be funding a clean water project for a third world village. I don't think I really need to tell you guys that this is in fact a good cause to support. So if you want to help out, I will provide a link below where you can head on over and vote for him. You can vote 10 times every day, so keep clicking that button until you can't anymore. Now, sort of tying in with this, if you guys remember a little while back, the portrait art was running for a YouTube competition and TotalBiscuit was supporting him. He promised that if the portrait art won, he would sing Santa Baby and put it up on his YouTube channel. Now the portrait art did win and TotalBiscuit did sing it. He sang it good. So if you want to, you can listen to TotalBiscuit singing Santa Baby right here on YouTube. And then as an extra, because of all the votes he's been getting in the King of the Web contest, TotalBiscuit also sang Let It Snow, with a twist. I'll just tell you that this twist does involve the Steam sale. So have a look at that, or give that a listen at least, right here on YouTube. Last up in our smaller pieces of community news, we've got Husky singing. Yes, everyone seems to be singing recently. Now this song was also because the portrait art won that competition, and this one is, I'll just say, a lot less glamorous. You have to listen to this one for yourself because there's no way of explaining it. He sings Katy Perry's I Kissed a Girl, and let's just say he's not that faithful to the original. I'd love to hear your thoughts on these songs. Do you prefer TotalBiscuit singing or Husky singing? Anyway, let's move on to the community smalls. First up in the smalls, over at the official site, you can have a look at the results from Blizzard's costume voting contest. Then you can read how the GG button is finally available. Then check out an article over at Rock Paper Shotgun titled Esport in Chance. Huck huck huck. Read how the guys over at MLG have cancelled their online shows, but not State of the Game. There's an article titled Autosis, a pillar of the community. And I've linked Autosis's Twitch TV stream. I've been hearing lots and lots of good things about his streaming and the commentary on the stream. Probably well worth having a look at. Then an article titled Cat's Pajamas, a love letter to the StarCraft community. Check out interviews with both QXC and Machine. Have a look at a long overdue introduction to Hero. Yes, he is in fact the new EG player that's not quite so new anymore. Then read about the possibility of a new Slayer's house soon. Check out a tour of the Startail house. Read about Razer and Quantic Gaming's new partnership, and then some drama. Combat X is seeking forgiveness. Again. I suppose you could call this interesting, and there are a couple of links relating to this below. Then listen to a song titled It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like StarCraft from Suspense. Then watch a very informative Zerg tutorial on working up from the Bronze League. This is cast by none other than D Apollo. And last up in the smalls, have a look at a picture of In Control on a porn website. And no, this is probably not what you think it is. It is incredibly safe for work. Don't worry about it. Sadly, that's all I have for you in the StarCraft news this week. I'm going to remind everyone right now that I probably won't be doing news next week, but I will get back to my normal schedule the week after that. Anyway, remember to like the video, favorite it, share it with your friends, and subscribe. Most importantly though, happy StarCrafting. If you're actually still watching this video now, you get to see what I would say is probably the saddest piece of StarCraft art I've ever seen. Yet so true. This one's titled, Some Terrans Might See It As Just 50 Minerals. It really does make you feel kind of bad for those Marines being dropped. Happy StarCrafting for real this time.